where there's animals there that will eat them pretty quickly. I thought it demonstrated some typical incompetence from the American police, I must say.
Go on.
Oh, if these crimes it's kind of what you said, really. How they didn't figure out who was responsible pretty quickly.
Well,
just I tell you what, I'm looking for a serial killer that's killing young women and young girls. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'll arrest and question that terrifying-looking bloke covered in tattoos who keeps leching at young girls.
Fair point.
That's what I'd do.
Yeah. It didn't even leave a lot of imagination, did it? It wasn't exactly tantalising.
It was silly, and you're right. There was no tension, was it? Because we knew pretty much 20 minutes in that guy's the killer.
Right.
And that's disappointing. It was a decent performance from Sam Worthington for once. Are you familiar with his work, Nathaniel?
Of course not.
No?
No.
What a surprise that is.
Educate me.
Avatar, Clash of the Titans. So he's normally in these big budgets, beefcake roles. But here he was actually required to do a bit of acting, which was good to see.
Yeah.
But both the lead actors, Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Sam Worthington, they're far too good looking to be police officers in any country. Never mind America.
You think you need to be an ugly chap to be a police officer?
Just look around you. And specifically, never mind in Texas, which is, it's the capital of grotesquerie in the Western world.
Well, that's your opinion, Richard, and you're entitled to.
It's not my opinion, it's fact.
Okay.
Texas is the fattest state in America.
Right.
That's fact.
So, well, I'm sure there are some slim people in Texas, so I think you're a little bit judgmental with that attitude.
Right.
That's nothing new.
This movie was racist. Black people are portrayed as stupid. All of the white people are played as highly intelligent and respectable individuals.
And you've got a problem with that?
I'm just pointing something out, Nathaniel. It's for others to read into.
Well, that's a fairly objective point of view to have. I don't necessarily agree with it, but that's what this slot's about, discussing what we feel about films.
Chloe Moretz, the young girl who played Anne, was absolutely useless. The girl can't act for shit.
Well, I'll have to disagree on that point.
She was rubbish.
I thought she was one of the better points of this movie. She gave it a very slightly interesting edge. Damn did it need it.
It's anti-Christian, Nathaniel, this movie.
Is it?
Massively. The only devout person in the movie gets shot. What a surprise.
Well, it's typical of you to be upset over something like that. But they are stupid Texans after all, aren't they?
It's based on true events, allegedly, but this is a phrase that we can never trust in movies. Remember Apollo 18 we did a few weeks ago?
Of course. That
was meant to be real too.
Was real, yes.
Don't think it was. Don't think it was. We know it wasn't, because they were wearing their helmets on the moon.
Well, when you're going to lose such fantastic logic as that, it's hard to argue.
And again, this film, they need to check their facts.
Oh, here we go.
There are no swamps in Texas. The geography's all wrong. The writer was thinking of the Everglades, which, as we all know, are in New York.
You really need to be making your points heard on these scores. You need to be, sending letters to people and correcting them in a factual integrity.
They wouldn't listen, Nathaniel. They're so blinkered, they're so blind. They wouldn't listen.
You have to try.
People with glasses in movies, and it should interest you, are always given a rough ride. I don't know if you've noticed this. And why do you think that is?
Enlighten me.
I've got no answer. I'm asking you.
That's in my opinion. Well, first of all, I'm questioning that as fact. I'm
right.
sure that every person that's ever worn glasses in film has not been subjected to violence or belittling of some sort.
It's an indicator, though, isn't it?
But, looking at it hypothetically, I would suggest that it's some sort of weakness on the part of the bully. If you take it back to school days, they're called four eyes and other unkind terms like that. It's an extension of that.
I can't believe you've just used that phrase on this podcast.
Four eyes?
Yes. Did you have some sensitivity, please, Nathaniel? There will be people listening to this who wear glasses.
Yeah. I apologise for my lewd comments. Mr. Shittlebob has corrected me once again.
What would you give it, Nathaniel? Out of 10. What's your rating?
I'm giving it 3 out of 10.
3? Oh, you're so hard to please sometimes. I'm giving it 6 out of 10.
Okay, folks, delving back into the archives for our review of the classic movie this week has seen us watch the Stanley Kubrick even 1971 classic A Clockwork Orange. The plot? Alex DeLarge and his friends are rebels with a very evil intent. Their penchant for the sadistic sins that sees them commit murder and rape for thrills, using a concoction of milk and drugs called Moloko for fuel. Eventually they are caught and brought to justice, and Alex, as he is particularly evil, is selected for a regime of therapy which is meant to remove the capacity from that person to commit crime. Although on the surface the therapy has been successful, there are still questions to be answered as to the legitimacy of this therapy when the sickness of society is revealed when Alex is released back onto the streets. Have you seen it, Richard?
I saw it 3 days ago.
Really?
3 days ago.
What did you think?
I thought it was fabulous.
I thought you might like it.
Did I say?
Yeah.
Fabulous. I've seen it before.
Yeah.
So this was, just a reminder, a recap.
Yeah.
It was breathtaking stuff. Stanley Kubrick, the director, he's done some fine work.
He certainly has.
But arguably, this could be the best of the bunch.
It's certainly up there. I'd agree with you on that score. Even I can talk about this.
Well, that says something, doesn't it, about its notoriety?
Yes.
That you've heard of it.
Indeed.
Now, were you aware, Nathaniel, that this movie wasn't actually banned in the UK?
I wasn't aware of that, no.
I presume you've heard that it was banned?
I've heard that it was banned, but I wouldn't have known where.
But that's not true.
Okay.
It was actually removed from circulation at the request of Stanley Kubrick himself.
Is that true?
It is true.
Oh.
Following what he perceived at the time to be copycat crimes.
Okay.
So, he was worried that his film was actually affecting real life events. So he requested the film be removed.
A little bit egotistical.
Perhaps, but I don't think he was short of an ego.
Probably not, no. Probably not.
Notoriously difficult to work with.
Right.
Rampagingly egomaniacal on set.
Perfectionism.
Total perfectionist, total control freak. He considered his actors in much the same way as Hitchcock. He considered them as props for him to move around and manipulate. Multiple reshoots, multiple retakes, over and over and over again. Do it again.
Yeah.
Very difficult. Malcolm McDowell as Alex, the lead character, certainly not the hero, but the lead character. He's in imperious form.
Isn't he just?
Oh, he captivates, doesn't he? Say it again, Nathaniel.
A bit of casting, I thought.
Oh, fantastic. This movie was prophetic in the extreme.
You going to explain that?
Just look at the riots, Nathaniel, in England this summer.
Yeah.
Did I say more?
I think you need to.
Why?
Yes.
The youth of today, Nathaniel, they're out of control, and a program like this would do them the world of good.
You think?
Oh. Desensitise them. Reprogram them. Teach them the error of their ways. Make them feel nauseous. Physically in pain. Every time they even touch a PlayStation 3 controller.
Right, I thought this kind of, this movie would be up your alley, but I thought you'd be getting behind the old-fashioned, old-school prison officer way of doing things. Good old-fashioned discipline, shouting people into submission, the occasional clip round the ear. But I thought you'd be against this newfangled way of doing things.
Oh, not at all, Nathaniel. I think a combination of the two. You see, you try and paint me as a monster. But I'm a liberal, tolerant thinker. You start off by shouting and screaming at them. Then you start to beat them around the head. And if all of that doesn't work, that's when you go for the brainwashing.
Right, okay. Yeah.
It's logical.
Well, at least you kind of varied with your viewpoints.
National service must be reintroduced.
I think we're getting away from the film.
Not at all.
Oh, okay.
No, we're not.
Okay.
If Alex had been forced into national service, had endured national service, do you think he'd have behaved the way he behaved? I think not.
Possibly not, but I think he might have taken a couple of the officers out before he was submitted. What's the word I'm looking for? Before he was controlled.
But controlled he would have been, ultimately.
Well, that's all conjecture.
Force all children to attend Sunday school and cut off the benefits of the parents who refuse to cooperate.
When did that scene appear in the film?
It's not in the film, Nathaniel. I'm just explaining how this film could be used to educate us as to how we should be behaving now. Based on the events of this summer. Have you forgotten so quickly what happened?
No, I haven't. No, I'm just trying to bring your brain round back to the film. I think you're getting political on us.
You tell me what you thought, Nathaniel. You haven't really said much so far.
Because I haven't been given the chance.
Go on, get on with it.
Okay. Can I talk now?
You may.
Okay. Sure?
Go!
I thought it was a breathtaking movie, Richard. Absolutely incredible. 1971 was the release year. Mm-hmm. And it's still as potent now as it was back then. Still as shocking even. Mm. I thought the film was littered with iconic scenes. The gang rape scene was sickening.
It was tough. It was a tough watch.
It certainly was. You've got the Beethoven revenge scene, mm-hmm. where obviously the victim, the husband, exacts his revenge on Alex later on in the movie. Yeah. And obviously the classic scene where Alex's eyes are forced open during the therapy. Oh, with the metal pins. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that is just physically gruesome to watch, psychologically. So absolutely sickening, but of course that's what makes it so awesome. Yeah. It's just evokes such emotion in you that you feel you want to jump through the screen and do something about the horrors that are being perpetrated, you know. What do you mean, save the people, or do you mean, shake Alex vigorously until he just stops being such an almighty arse? Absolutely, I just want that. That's exactly what I want to do. I want to leap through the screen and punch Alex in the face. Yeah. He really did get you to revile him, and that's why Malcolm McDowell did such a good job, as well as the scripting, obviously.